What's up, Men's Physique fans, and welcome back to another video. We had two pro shows this past weekend introducing one new qualified Olympian and another who's just stealing Olympia qualifications at this point. The much anticipated return of Sadik Hadzovic left a lot to be desired, which is having the bodybuilding community wondering if this is the end of a legendary career. And the Dubai Pro competitors list is officially out, and it looks like a lot of Olympians have thrown their hat in the ring for the opportunity to win $40,000 and solidify their resume going against one of the greatest men's physique athletes of all time in Erin Banks. Guys, we have a lot to catch up on in the men's physique division, so let's sit back, relax, and enjoy this video.
No, they want to take it off from me, so I give what it takes. Whole life been a miracle, seen everything but a cape. Why would I stop now? Found everything on a journey, but another way. Look.
There was a lot of hype coming into this year's Chicago Pro, not only because one of the greatest men's physique athletes of all time was making his comeback to the stage, but there was just a lot of storylines that were unfolding throughout the 2024 season that were continued into this show. Starting off with our third place finisher in Deke Walker. Deke has now done 4 shows this season. Going into the Chicago Pro, he has placed second at all of these shows. And now he places third at the Chicago Pro, inching closer and closer to that Olympia qualification. Now, you hear me say closer and closer, and though he took a step back in placings, I believe he took a step forward in the look. Deke was always known for his heightened level of conditioning and detail, but he kept missing the mark with his fullness, more specifically through the chest. And as you see here, there is no question that Deke brought the most balanced package that he has ever brought to the stage this past weekend. Now, there's no question, when you have a physique like Deke Walker, you are going to be in the conversation at every single show. But the thing about Deke that holds him back is simply his structure compared to other guys. He does not have a bad structure, but what is being rewarded is the supreme structures, the guys with the very wide shoulders compared to the small waist. Now, though Deke has a tight waist, it's not the smallest waist. And Deke does need to continue to add that density through his back, but I do believe that this was the best package that he brought to any stage. Was it the most conditioning? No, we'll give that award to the Miami. But the balance is what allowed Deke to stand out on this day, personally, more than any other day this past season. Typically in situations like this, where you've done multiple shows time and time again, and you just weren't able to get the job done, I would recommend people to take some time, let their body relax, give their mental a break, because this is definitely something that weighs heavily, and simply focus on being the best version of you for 2025 or simply the next season. But in Deke's case, I don't. He's getting better, he's improving, he's fine-tuning, and not to mention, it truly just matters who shows up. Again, if Deke goes against somebody with a supreme structure, there's a chance he will lose. But if he goes against guys who don't have that elite top level 1% structure, Deke will beat them. Because I'm telling you guys right now, and we're gonna come back to this video when it happens, Deke will qualify for the 2024 Mr. Olympia. And coming in at second place, we have one of the youngest IFBB pros of all time in Shakri. Shakri turned pro at 19 years old. And it's safe to say that his physique simply looks above his time, above his age. He looks absolutely insane. When he first walked out, there was a simple wow factor about his physique. He didn't even have to open up into a front shot before you realize just how dangerous this man was. And though he is very young, he is somebody with an immense amount of muscle mass and great amount of detail. So much so that after competing in the Olympia in 22, he had to take 2023 off after they added the weight cap to actually downsize. Now, it doesn't look like there was tons of downsizing done, but trust me when I say, for how big he was then to where he is now, he definitely streamlined his physique in a way that just simply fit more men's physique. Now, there's definitely still some added muscle mass that probably should come down, specifically in the arms, but he is definitely somebody who just demanded your attention while he was on stage. His chest fullness, right? His overall just structure, how big he is, but how small his waist is. This guy is going to be dangerous at any show that he does. And truthfully, I thought that he was giving first place a run for his money. But I'm telling you guys right now, if you see his name on an upcoming roster, you might want to say you're sick, because it's not going to look good for a lot of these guys. But again, congratulations to Ahmad Shakri, one of the craziest physiques that I've seen in the 2024 season, and it's only a matter of time for him. And your 2024 Chicago Pro winner, we have Abisai Pierz. Guys, there's not much more to say. We just raved about him in our last video. He absolutely dominated at Texas, but now he brings a better package to Chicago and does the same thing. Elite structure reigns supreme, and this is a perfect representation of that. He improved on his conditioning, he improved on his overall detail, his fullness, and he just simply knocked it out of the park. This guy is going to be very dangerous at the Olympia stage. Again, when it comes to the big stage, when it comes to any stage, the structure is going to separate you from everybody else. That's just something you can't teach. It's very hard to change. It's just simply something that your mama gave you, and he maximized it. And I'm really excited to see what he does. I do think he does need to continue to add fullness to that chest. Again, he's a wide guy, and when you're a wide guy, there's a lot of surface space to cover between shoulder to shoulder. So you have to continue to fill out that area in order to truly just have that pop when you're on stage. But his posing, his balance from front to back, his overall presence on stage is very, very demanding, and you can feel it. When you're watching the video, you can see the confidence in his face, you can see the confidence in his movement, and that alone is something that you simply just can't turn your head away from. Men's physique is a look, it's almost like a feel in the same breath, and he makes you feel and see exactly what you want to see for the men's physique division. Again, Abisai is going to be the future of the men's physique division. There's no question about that, and I'm really excited to see what he can do at the Olympia stage. And a little birdie did tell me that he may just be doing another show. Coming into the show, there is no question that Sadik was the favorite, not only on paper, but of the fans. If you guys have followed Sadik on his social media platforms, you would have realized the crazy physique updates just had the industry buzzing. And after taking 2 years off and posting what he has posted, it has looked like he improved dramatically. But what you've seen on social media didn't necessarily translate to the stage. Now, were there improvements made? There's no question about it. Sadik has grown just like the division has grown. The last package that Sadik brought to the 2022 Pittsburgh stage and then the New York Pro stage, where I actually competed with Sadik, he was actually more streamlined. Now, one thing that you've noticed since that time is the physiques have continued to evolve. They've grown, and also their posing has changed. And the biggest thing that I've noticed with Sadik is his posing not only didn't change, but it almost digressed. And after not being on the stage for a while, this could likely be the reason why, but he just didn't look comfortable. And for somebody who's a veteran, somebody who's placed multiple second places at the Olympia, who's won multiple big shows, who have been the face of men's physique and have some of the best posing coaches in the world, you would think that this wouldn't be an issue. But this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to also see posing is not something that's 100% natural. You have to continue to work at it. But nonetheless, he just didn't look comfortable on stage. If you've noticed, when he was hitting his front shot, he was trying to exaggerate his lat so much that it just kind of threw an imbalance off. And then he was trying to break his hip in a way that just kind of made him feel like he was just leaning, and it didn't look comfortable. Now, believe it or not, the posing wasn't even his biggest issue. His biggest issue actually came from his actual look in itself. This is the definition of a spilled physique. Your muscles can only take so much glycogen, and the way that you get glycogen is through your carb load leading into the show. Now, when your muscle has too much glycogen, that's what it calls spill, where it is almost like a watery look over the muscle in itself. And that's what you're seeing here. If you take a look at Sadik's midsection specifically, you'll notice exactly what I'm talking about. There's almost like a watery layer over it. Now, Sadik has never been known for his detail through his midsection. So if he has thin abs, then you add an added layer of a spilled muscle, there's no question that he is going to look the way that he looked on stage. Now, if you take a step back, right? A lot of people are talking about the negatives of this package. I do believe that there were positives as well. Sadik has grown. He brought a lot of new muscle. His back improved dramatically, which has always been a weak point of Sadik. I don't believe what he's actually worked for and worked on was best represented on this day, but as an athlete myself, I know how hard it is to nail it consistently, especially after not being on the stage for a long time. So you have to almost read between the lines and not just look at the glaring issues, but also some of the pros that he's actually been able to, make, or the improvements that he was actually able to make over the years of not being on stage, because they are very clear if you know the sport of bodybuilding. Now, going into the show, Sadik was posting almost daily videos documenting his journey back to the stage. And the one thing that I've noticed that he was doing was being a little inconsistent in terms of the communication, or at least the execution that he was having with his coach, whether it was changing carb sources out. Now, is it a big deal? Some will say yes, some will say no. Like, personally, I'm a firm believer in dying on your sword. When your coach says something, you do it, right? You hire him for a reason. But nonetheless, he's a veteran, right? I can't sit here and speak on this. He's probably did this a lot throughout his career, and he's been able to get away with it. So this might not be new to him, but that's one thing that I have noticed in his videos, that, a coach would say something, then he might do something slightly different. Now, including that, him and his coach did go out to eat for the final carb load going into the show, the day before the show, and then went to the Cheesecake Factory. And don't get me wrong, I love the Cheesecake Factory, but that's not somewhere I would think you would go for your final carb load. But again, he's a veteran. He's been doing this for a while. This might not be a new, situation for him. He's probably did this before and it worked. But I've never seen personally somebody eat cheesecake going into the show. A burger, fries, that's one thing. But when you're eating sweets and sugars, and your chances are your body has never had that going in, then it's probably not going to necessarily have the best, outcome coming out. And that's what we saw translate onto the Chicago Pro stage. So again, he hasn't been on the stage in a while, right? When you are on the stage in a while, not only can it affect your posing, it can just simply affect your, ability to know what is needed to bring your body to life. And that's what they did. They found the data, they understood what not to do. So in 2 weeks, when he steps on the Tampa Pro stage, he's gonna know what to do. 2 weeks is an eternity. So I do believe that he's gonna bring a much improved package to the Tampa Pro, but he is gonna have to face a Deke Walker, somebody who he just lost to. He's also gonna have to face a lot of the young guns who have been running through the gauntlet in 2024 to make it a name for themselves. And I'm really excited to see what he can do as the best version of himself. I mean, we can use our current champion, Ryan Terry, as a prime example. If you go back to look at the package that he brought in 2023 at the Pittsburgh Pro, it was just something not truly representative of who we know Ryan could be. And then just 1 week later, he steps on stage at the New York Pro. Probably the best package that he's ever brought on any stage, looking absolutely insane, and kicks everybody's ass. So again, anything can happen. I'm a firm believer that Sadik will be back with a vengeance. But the one thing that does have me nervous is that if he doesn't win the Tampa Pro, this could be the last time we ever see Sadik on any stage. If you take a look at this clip from one of his most recent YouTube videos, it definitely sounds like he might retire if it doesn't go well.
So it's gonna be called Now or Never, because that's the theme of this entire year. I'm getting older, I'm competing. It's either I'm doing this shit now or I'm never doing it.
So as a fan of the sport and a fan of this division, and certainly a fan of Sadik, fingers crossed that this man does really well at the Tampa Pro, snags his Olympia qualification, and continues to stay in the men's physique division and continue bringing it up the way that he has throughout his whole career. But nonetheless, I cannot wait to see what Sadik brings in just 2 weeks. Do you remember a few videos ago where I said, this might just be my favorite physique of the 2024 season? Well, yeah, because he dominated the Olympia Pro and punched his ticket to the Olympia for the very first time. Guillermo clearly has the best front shot on stage, and maybe even in the entire league. His midsection is reminiscent of Ali Bilal, but with the razor sharp conditioning and the detail. There's a big difference between conditioning and detail. One can be conditioned, but not have a much detail. A guy in the first call out is a perfect representation of that. Mario, he looks great. He is very conditioned, but the detail lacks. If he matched Guillermo's conditioning and overall detail, then you would very much see a different pop on Mario's physique. And Mario is a previous Olympian, somebody who's been known for his conditioning. But again, when you have those lines, that will truly allow you to separate yourself from those who might even be more conditioned than you. Again, when you have both, it's very dangerous. And Guillermo has that. He has great balance from the chest, shoulders, arms, but his dominant front shot is actually going to hurt him at the Olympia. Let me explain. Though his back isn't bad, it does create an imbalance from front to back because of how dominant his front shot is compared to his back shot. At the Olympia stage, that is not going to fly. They reward competitors who have the least amount of flaws, not necessarily who have the best of one or even two things. So Guillermo does have time, but he does need to prioritize over these next 12 weeks from now until the Olympia on trying to fill out and put as much tissue on his back so his front shot actually doesn't hurt him. When they say, gentlemen, face the curtains. If you guys are a fan of the men's physique division, you guys know just how entertaining the Instagram lives of George Brown and Ben Quills are. Now, when you combine the two, these guys have had a feud that we are finally going to get answers to and settle after all of this time. The Daytona Pro takes place just 2 weeks before the Olympia. That will qualify you for the 2025 Olympia. Now, there's a lot riding on this. George Brown will be able to secure his 10th win if he wins that show. Retiring on 10 wins is a massive accomplishment, and not many can say that they were in those double digits. I believe Corey Morris, Brandon Hendrickson, Andre Ferguson are just the only people I can name of right off the gate who have done that. Maybe Ryan Terry, but there's not many. And George is gonna edge his name in history even more so than it already is. But Ben is on fire. He is an up-and-coming men's physique athlete who I don't even know if it's right to say he's up-and-coming. I think that motherfucker has arrived at this point. He has just been consistent. He has won multiple pro shows in his career. He's a veteran. He has been yearning for this battle for the last few years. And I'm telling you guys right now, this battle will not only bring a lot of hype to the men's physique division, but a lot of shit talking over the next couple of months. But I'm very curious to know what you guys think. After watching this video, who do you guys think is going to win?
To speak to you now, what I'm going to do now is show you lines. Those are lines. That's an ab structure. Is Alex Toplyn on this motherfucker? Because that motherfucker had the nerve to say something about my structure. Is he drunk? Could it be too much Wawa coffee? In Daytona, it's on Ben gonna lose again. See, Ben got a track record of going against guys that are better than him and losing.
I'm telling you guys right now, whenever George wants to come on the Men's Physique Radio podcast, he has an open invite. This amount of entertainment cannot leave the division after he retires. If anything, it's probably only gonna get more ruthless. So brother, please take us up on our offer. You're always welcome. But nonetheless, very curious to know what you guys think. At this point, it looks like Ben is just calm, cool, and collected. He's confident in what he's doing. He's called out a lot of people. And I'm telling you guys right now, when you call out a lot of people, there's a reason for it. It's because you're confident in the package that you're bringing. You're confident in the work. Ben has not competed in almost a year. And because of that, there's a different version of Ben coming to the stage. So the question is, how much has he improved? And is it going to be enough to beat George Brown? And now, I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. We are just a few days out from the biggest Olympia qualifying show of the year, the Dubai Pro. And it's safe to say that this is going to be a battle. This is more shaping up like a miniature Olympia with the amount of qualified Olympians who are committed to doing this show. And in total, the amount of athletes who are doing this show. 39 athletes will be walking across the Dubai stage. This is going to be one hell of a battle. And not to mention, there are 7 current qualified Olympians who are going to be battling it out to be in that conversation for the win. But there's no question, our previous Olympian champion, Erin Banks, is here to make a statement after losing the Chiron Holden at Legion Sports Festival just last year and then placing 3rd and losing his title at last year's Olympia. But I need to break out the iPad for this one because I want to go through just some notable names that I do believe are going to be in that conversation. Now, there's no question there is a lot of names on this list, but a name that I see that's pretty consistent is Mahmoud. But the Mahmoud that I want to focus on is Mahmoud Al-Garbi. He is somebody who has been to the Olympia stage multiple times, somebody with supreme conditioning and a lot of muscle mass on his frame. He has never been at that top conversation in the Olympia, but he is consistently there and he is consistently in the conversations at the shows that he does. So I'm really excited to see what he does this year. And obviously, Erin Banks, the champion himself, will be going back to collect a big check if all goes right. And then we have another guy from San Diego. We have Andre Benson. Andre has come out of the woodworks this past season after what seemingly has been a downfall, and then resurrected like the Phoenix and came back and dominated this season, looking absolutely amazing and just rejuvenating his career. Not only that, his look. This is the best he's ever looked after previously being on the Olympia stage before, and then taking some hiatus and some years off, and then coming back with a vengeance this year. Andre will not be the only athlete of DJ Pierz who will be stepping on this stage this weekend. Abisai Pierz has jumped into the Dubai Pro after winning Texas, and then fast forwarding winning Chicago, and then another back-to-back shows jumping into the Dubai Pro. Now, there's no question, he has been on a tear, looking better and better with each show. He just recently traveled to the States to compete in Texas, and then he traveled to Chicago, then he traveled back to the Netherlands, and then he's traveling to Dubai. So there's a lot of traveling on all consecutive weeks. So I'm curious to know if all of this travel is going to put a lot of stress on his body, but if it does not, and he continues the trend that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, I have him in that top conversation and potentially the closest guy to giving Erin Banks a run for his money. And another name that we have on this list is Sid Poirier. And everybody knows who this man is, somebody who is consistently winning pro shows. He's already won 2 this season. He's a multi-time Olympian. And again, somebody who just consistently gets better with each show that he does. Now, last year when he did compete at the Olympia, it was probably one of the worst packages that he brought to any stage. And we likely credited that to the amount of shows that he did, but since then he's improved on a lot of the things that he couldn't control, his posing, right, his overall confidence, his presentation, and now we're going to see what he does standing next to some of the best in the world, because there's no question that he will be being compared next to the Abisais and the Erin Bankses of the world, because again, he is somebody who kind of fits in that mold, structure-wise, conditioning-wise, balance from front to back. So again, he's definitely going to be somebody who I am considering in that top 3 conversation. And then a guy who a lot of people I guarantee are sleeping on, but somebody who has made a name for himself early in this season, and somebody who I truly believe has an opportunity to be vying for that top 2 spot. And that's Miroslav Jurek. And guys, I might have just butchered that name, but there's a good chance that he butchers a lot of people and a lot of people's predictions going into this show. Because yes, he is qualified for the 2024 Olympia, but a lot of guys have recency bias. They hear a lot of these names, but he was somebody who qualified very early, took some time off. And again, he brings the conditioning. He has the crazy fullness. He has the waistline. He's very balanced. And again, he just has that men's physique look. And I wish I had his chest personally. But nonetheless, I do believe he is going to be in that conversation. Now, my top 3 predictions for the show, and this is never easy, but I have Erin Banks taking home the $40,000 grand prize. And then I have Abisai Pierz. If he can nail his peak, and he consistently follows the trends that he's been following over the last couple of weeks, I do believe he will place second. Abisai actually placed second at the Dubai Pro last year, just missing his Olympia qualification, and then coming in at 3rd. Now, believe it or not, this one is the hardest one, because like I said, there's a lot of names on this list, and there's so many that I haven't even named who can seriously be within this conversation. But I'm going to have to give it to my guy Miroslav, because he is somebody who I do believe he's been extremely consistent over the shows that he has done. And again, he's probably even improved even more since we last seen him touch the stage. But again, that's my top 3 predictions. There's a lot of crazy names on this list that I guarantee nobody can get the top 5 right. Top 5. If you can get the top 5 right, comment it in the comment section below. I'll give you a shout out, or I'll send you a pair of board shorts. But nonetheless, guys, this is going to be one crazy show. And again, I do have Erin Banks, who was looking absolutely insane, taking the top spot. And before I get out of here, guys, I have to take a quick second to thank each and every single one of you who have supported the Manifest Board Short competition launch. Whether it's the material that is form-fitting and allows you guys to exaggerate your X-frame, or trimming down the waistline that allows you guys to exaggerate your overall taper. I'm telling you guys right now, the standards are being changed, the standards are being risen, and it starts with the Manifestation brand. And I'm telling you guys, this is gonna absolutely change the game. So thank you guys so much. If you haven't already and you have an upcoming show, support the brand. We are sold out in a lot of items. So if you do have your size in stock, it would mean a lot if you can support and continue to invest and build up the men's physique division. If you are somebody you know are looking to step on stage for the first time, get nationally qualified, earn your IFBB Pro card, or even shutting it down and focus on putting on mass for the 2025 season, I am now accepting clients. All you guys have to do is click the link below. And I'm telling you guys right now, it will not be easy. but it will be worth it. I cannot wait to help you guys raise your standards and help maximize your potential. With that being said, as always, we love you guys, we appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
If you want front row, I got a Hollywood star. I got my name in stone.